Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. I'm Ben, and this is my dad, Jerry, and for the last decade, we have been blessed with the opportunity to ride dual sport and adventure motorcycles together, and in that time, we've found that the only thing better than riding together is being able to communicate while we're riding.
I don't know, this thing definitely has more get up and go than that one, but that one's not too bad.
Yeah, excellent.
And while there are a lot of great options out there to choose from, we found that there are certain communicators that, well, don't quite work as well in certain situations.
How does the DR feel at this speed?
Not hearing you.
And of course, there are lots of options out there from the big brand names in the $200 or even $300 price categories, but to be honest, the most impressive communicator that I've ever used is this BTS2 Bluetooth communicator, which is their very first comm that I ever used. Back in the day, it could be had for right around $30, and even at 63 bucks here, it's really still not a bad option. Definitely was always reliable, doesn't have the most features, but certainly always did everything that I needed it to. And that's exactly why, after using another brand that I wasn't so happy with, I decided to come back to FodSports and see what they had to try out. And the FX8 Pro here seemed like a great option, especially with their new upgraded speaker system here. These definitely have some great options. They do cost a little bit more. A single here is right around $140, but to be honest, with all of the options and the upgraded speakers here, I thought it was definitely something that was worth trying out. And I want to say a huge thanks to them for sending me out this dual pack that I've been running on both my adventure and dual sport helmets. Inside the box here, we've got a bit of paperwork. This little yellow card is letting you know the requirements for the plug that you'll need to supply to charge them, the 1-year warranty card, and the rather massive startup guide showing all the different functions. There's also this little slip that shows you how to adjust the intercom and music levels separately. Both the packaging and the units themselves definitely have a high quality look and feel to them, and if we pop one out, we can see the mount on the back side, the plug on the back, and then the auxiliary 2.5 millimeter jack here, as well as the USB-C cable plug here for charging. The buttons are all nicely spaced out and tall enough that they're easy to find and click with a glove, and I really like that the volume is controlled by a wheel rather than a button. Digging into the box a little bit deeper, we'll find all of the speakers and microphone options here. This is the upgraded sound system, and we've got the traditional boom style mic here, but it also comes with this wire style that just gets connected via this Velcro anywhere inside of the chin bar, and that is the one that I'm going to use. It's just a lot easier to find a spot for it. Another reminder here of the voltage required to charge it, but of course we just get this specialized cable. You are not able to use another USB-C cable for this. It has to be that one. We've got the 2.5 to 3.5 millimeter connection here if you want to plug into an iPod or something that still has 3.5 millimeter jack. And here we've got all of the connection plates and various Velcro pads for connecting and spacing out the speakers inside of the helmet. It does come with two different back plates that are the same, so you could technically stick one on another helmet, even though you wouldn't have another set of speakers for it. You could use the VHB tape, or you could use these little rubber dampers here that stick to the same position, and then you can use this clip, and both of those will just sort of help keep it in place. It just gets fastened down by those little clips there and clips into place. We've got our antenna, and to get this mounted up, I'm going to remove the comm again, and we'll just shove this inside of the helmet. Clips on quite nicely to my MSR ADV helmet here, and we'll just pop that back in place. Now, of course, I'm no expert on this, but I don't really like the fact that this thing sticks off so far. To me, it seems like something a bit more low profile would be much safer in a crash. We'll get the sticky pads unpeeled here and put into place where my ears are going to be. And this is the little Velcro spacer to keep those speakers a little bit closer to my ears so I can hear just a little bit better. So we'll get that in place. And then it's just a matter of running the wires around in a way that's not going to press into my skull. We'll get the other sticky pad and spacer in place, as well as the speaker. And this connection here is also kind of large, and you definitely want that in a spot that, again, is not going to interfere with you when you're riding, and also isn't going to cause an issue if there is an impact to your head. We'll get that plugged in and stick the microphone in place. And I didn't realize this until I was installing it on the motocross helmet here, but this clip really sticks out into the helmet a lot, so that is definitely not a good thing and could certainly cause, again, an injury. So I popped both clips off each of my helmets, stuck them in my sock jaw here, and gave it a different angle of a bend just past where it contacts the inside of the helmet, so it would sit flush in there and not be poking me. And with both of them mounted up, it was time to start heading out for some test rides. So I took the ADV helmet out first and did a nice long trip where I was riding around listening to music and some navigation from my CarPlay unit, and I've got to say it really did sound much better than anything else that I've used. I think having the speakers just a bit closer certainly helped, but they weren't in the way at all. I never felt uncomfortable. I never really felt any of the components at all, and I was actually so comfortable in it that I just wore the helmet the entire time that I was out on my adventure, even when I was fishing, which did make me feel a little safer on the rocks. Next, I went up to Harrison Hills with the MX helmet to test the intercom function with my dad, and we stopped and talked about the sky a bit.
I think it's just disappearing.
Even though he still had his old comm, I had crystal clear communications on my end so we could share trail conditions.
Whoa!
Yeah, this is awful.
Oh!
The real test, of course, was to switch bikes and ride the slightly louder XR to see if I could still hear him, and I had zero issues. Again, crystal clear communications, no problems at all. Didn't matter how high the bike was revved up.
Whoa, really sketchy up here.
Oh!
And range testing in the woods is certainly a little bit tricky because once I couldn't see him anymore, it was sort of hard to tell how far apart we were. So I decided to connect both of my helmets in the garage and head out for a little range testing. To turn them on, we've just got to hold the two side buttons down for 3 seconds until it says,
"Welcome to FodSports Bluetooth Communication System."
Get the other one turned on here as well.
"Welcome to FodSports Bluetooth Communication System."
And then to pair the intercom, we've got to hold down the front button here with a little picture of the helmet on it for 3 seconds until the backlight starts flashing red and blue, and it says. And then we just got to click that same button on one of the helmets to connect them. And then with my usual foam earplugs in place, I'll put the MX helmet on and we will head out for a test ride.
Alright, so we'll leave you guys there. We're just rolling over 32 miles, 32.1. Let's see how long you guys can hear me for. You watch the odometer, I'll watch the road. And you hear me now? How about now? Still? Hello? Now, unfortunately, we've got a downhill, so I might lose you behind the pavement. So, almost a half mile, probably over a half mile if there weren't any obstructions. And now we're on the way back, and I don't think you can see me yet, but it did, I believe, reconnect. Now, obviously, had we been out in the woods, things would be, well, drastically different because we're not able to get a clear signal just straight down the road. We'd be meandering through the woods, and the trees and other obstacles are definitely going to block that signal. But in general, it seems like these things have a pretty darn good strong range on them, and I definitely like how fast they reconnect. And to get it to connect to a phone is super easy. You just got to hold this down for 3 seconds. And then it'll find it if it's a new device on here. Mine's not, because it's already been connected. Then we can play some music. And then when you're listening to music, if you hit the M button, it will cycle through treble boost, mid-range boost, and bass boost. To pause the music, you simply just press this button, and to get it to replay again, you just press it again. But then say I'm listening to music on one of these devices, and either I or my riding partner needs to talk to me, all you've got to do is hit this button, and it will activate or deactivate the intercom. And depending on what the other comm is set up like, whether it's one of these or something else, it will depend on whether or not the music will start automatically playing or not. But just hitting it again will then either disconnect or reconnect the intercom, which is really pretty cool. And if you want to share the music between one comm and the other, all you've got to do is hold down the M button for 3 seconds on the comm that has the music playing through it. have to turn that down. So now the music is playing over both of these. We can't hear each other. There is a way to just play music over one helmet and listen to music while still talking to the other person. So each person could individually, if you have one of these comms, listen to their own individual music, but still be able to communicate back and forth at the same time, if that makes sense, which really is pretty neat. And when you are sharing music, either person can press the pause or play button to pause or play the music. And if I hit the intercom button, it will stop the music and immediately just have us back to sort of Bluetooth intercom mode. And if I hit it again, I do have to hit the play button again, but it will start sharing that music again. I also really like that this has dedicated forward and back buttons for the music. Definitely a good thing rather than having to double tap one of these buttons and try to remember all that. Super simple. Forward, backward, volume, intercom, pause, play. I mean, it really is a pretty well thought out, well set up comm. So we'll get on the highway here and I'll have the music going, and then my wife's going to give me a call, and I believe it should automatically answer. So at about 70, I'm sure you guys won't be able to hear me very well, but I can hear my music totally fine. It sounds really good. I've actually got the treble boost on now, and it's, I mean, plenty loud. I can almost not hear myself talk because of it. So that's definitely a nice change. Hello? Did I lose you? Are you there? Oh, hello. Now you're there. Okay. I thought I was already talking to you. Now I can you hear me okay? No? Sounds like a lot of wind noise. How about now? Is that any better? Still pretty bad? Okay. Let me slow down a bit here to 55. So she can't hear me very well. I can hear her totally fine, better than I've ever been able to. But I guess on the highway, I think it is just kind of a little bit hard to cancel out all the sound. So do you think we could have a conversation though, like this? I suppose we already are, but she says we are. I'm trying to figure out a way to convey what you're saying to them, but of course there's not really a good way to do that. But you shouldn't really talk on the phone on the highway or on a bike anyways, so it seems like it's possible if you need to get it done even at 55, 60 miles an hour, but let's call it a test done, and I'll let you get back to what you're doing, okay, honey? Love you too, bye. So now she hung up, and the music starts playing again. So there's one more thing that I had to come out and test, and we'll do that in just a second. But if there is anything else that you guys want to know about this, ask me down in the comment section, and I will do my best to get back to you. What I'm out here to test right now, though, is the FM function, and to turn that on, I've just got to hold this back button down here for 3 seconds, and then it will tell me that the FM radio is on. And it really has kind of been a while since I've ever even tried an FM function on an intercom, because actually that first communicator that I used, the BTS2, had it, but it never really seemed to work very well, at least where I'm at. I think if you're very near a radio tower, then maybe you'd be able to pick up the signal a little bit better, but that one, it didn't really seem like it worked if you got too far away. This one, however, though, I've got to say really does a pretty darn good job, to be honest. I mean, way out here in the middle of nowhere, I have definitely turned down a few roads where things got a little bit choppy and hissy and weren't the greatest. None of it was so bad. I mean, obviously, because I'm out here to test it, none of it was so bad that I wanted to turn it off or change the station, though. I mean, again, even with this one, while it does seem much better, I think it, is, of course, like with any FM radio, is going to depend on where exactly you're at in relativity to the signal. But it does seem like, from the little bit of testing that I've done, that this is a function that I may very well use, and especially if you just need to get the news or weather, I mean, that definitely could be something that's useful. Again, you would actually need to be near a signal and be able to pick it up with the relatively small antenna on here. But I've got to say, it does seem like at least a function that is worth trying. There, of course, aren't any presets or anything like that. You just have to hit the forward or back button, and it will basically just kind of jump to the next signal. And sometimes there's music there, sometimes it seems like there's not. But either way, it doesn't seem like it's too hard to find a station. So, of course, as always, absolutely no pressure, but if these seem like something that'd be interesting to you guys, I'll have any affiliate links or discount codes that I can offer you guys down in the description. Anytime you use codes like that, it definitely helps me to continue making more videos like this for you guys. So, huge thanks to you guys that take the time to use those. Until next time, guys, take care, stay safe, stay swanky, get out and enjoy this beautiful world God created any chance you get. If you can't do that right now, here's some more videos to check out in the meantime.